Hello friends, myself Professor Vinod Pillai. Welcome to Java session. In today's session, I'll be taking a topic called how to work, develop and Java applications, more specifically a web application in Java using an Eclipse IDE. Eclipse is one of the IDEs being provided in the market. There are multiple types of IDEs provided by different companies, like NetBeans is one of the providers of IDE. Eclipse is another one, JBoss. There are different types of choices are available. So it is up to the user, they can use which particular IDs are there. Some of them are having some advantages and disadvantages. So according to your needs, like NetBeans is having a drag and drop much powerful features for the Swing applications. So and same way Eclipse is having some of its advantages in its ID. So it's a personal choice. You can select any particular ID as per your requirements. I have selected Eclipse as my personal choice, so I'll be working on that. For getting an Eclipse ID, Eclipse is based on Java based ID, so you require Java software to be installed on your system. I'm using Linux. I'm expecting whatever operating system you're using, it's having Java being installed. Okay, so if it's suppose you're not having Java, first of all you can download Java, like JDK download. You just search it on net, you'll get an options of internet, and you can went to the Oracle website and you can download the Java software. Second thing, once you have the Java, you require the Eclipse ID. Okay, so if you go to eclipse.org, that's the official website of Eclipse, and you can have an option over here, that's the download option. Okay, so there are different versions are available. Okay, you have to select appropriately, that is Eclipse ID for J2EE, that is a web application enterprise edition one. If you're only looking for a core development, okay, that is you're not going to develop a web application, you should select an Eclipse ID for Java development, that's a core SDK development. Okay, similarly Eclipse IDE is more is even available for C and C++ also. So according to your need, you can select it and you can download it. Okay, it is showing because Linux only, because I'm using Linux. Okay, so if you're a Windows user, you'll be getting that option. Okay, or else you can switch over here and you can select it. If you're looking for some older versions, you can have to select the packages accordingly. Okay, once you download it, I expect you have that software. After downloading it, you'll be getting a tar.gz, something like this. You have to simply extract this particular one and you'll get a something like this folder. Okay, so I have now Eclipse J2EE ID. There is an Eclipse dot icon over here. You simply select that one. Okay, now it will be starting, it will be loading its files. It's not an executable, even if you're working with Linux or you're working with Windows, it will not make any changes. You have to simply unzip the folder. Okay, now after unzipping that particular zip file, you'll be getting in this folder. You'll go into this Eclipse file particular icon, and it's asking a workspace is something like a concept where it's a generalized a main folder where you will be keeping your projects. So I have selected /home/windows/data as Java workspace. You can select any of them. If it's a Windows, it's D drive : / and all that concepts. So make sure that you select appropriate workspace. If you're using Windows, I recommend that don't use C drive as a workspace. Not only just because of getting the data being lost, but there is a chances of security issues, and it may automatically lock those folders and you will not be able to access it. There are such problems I have faced in past, so I'll recommend better you keep some other drive for data purpose. Okay, so I select my workspace. Okay, it will load into the workspace area. Okay, it will take a little bit time. It's loading the libraries. Okay, now for meanwhile, if let it be get started. For any web application, you will be require some softwares, like you require Java, you require Eclipse, you require a Tomcat. Tomcat is a web server. Okay, you can select any of the servers which are available in the market. Okay, JBoss is a server, Glassfish is a server. So different types of servers are available. Whichever server you feel is appropriate, you can select it, because the request will be going to the web application. All request goes to the web server, and the web server transfers the request to appropriate servlet or JSP. So you should know that you have to get an appropriate server. Okay, so Tomcat is also an open source, and it's an Apache project, so it's a Tomcat. I'm using it, and for database purpose, you can select MySQL. Okay, so these are the major 4 softwares I'm thinking about for a web application minimum requirements. If you're using some Struts or Hibernate, you may require their own libraries and all those things. Okay, so meanwhile, if I'll just go to Tomcat also. So just simply type Tomcat 7, Apache Tomcat 7, and you can download Apache Tomcat in this way. Okay, and similarly you can go for MySQL download. Okay, So all these softwares, open source softwares, you can simply download them and you can use them. So here it is, Apache Tomcat. I'm selecting download. Okay, and here it will show you different types of versions are available. If you're using Windows type or exe type, whatever type you are required, you can download and you can get those things. Okay, now in MySQL you can have a MySQL download for Windows, and for Linux, whatever you are using, if you're using uh, Ubuntu something, or means a Debian one, you have to use apt minus get install MySQL. This way you have to install that. I expect that you have the basic knowledge how to install the softwares, and you are having MySQL being installed, Apache being installed, Eclipse we have downloaded it, and you have the Java. So basic requirements like the Java, Eclipse, Tomcat and MySQL is there. Okay, so you should remember that these all are independent softwares, so you somehow need to configure them. Okay, you have to specify Eclipse where the Tomcat is there, where is the which particular GRE version you want to use in Java, and how you want to use MySQL also. Okay, we'll see later on how as and when it comes. In today's session we'll be only be seeing how to use it in IDEs. Okay, so here it comes in this way, a lookout is there. Okay, so this is the project explorer, this is the coding section, and this is the console section, or you can say server section, where we can see what is happening to the server and all those things. Okay, so first of all let's create a project. So you can go file, new, and you can select other, or you can select the project. If suppose project is not available here at that portion, you can select as other. Okay, so I select project. So it's asking which type of project you are want to. I'm creating a Java based web application. Go at bottom, there is a web, and select dynamic web project. Okay, then simply select next. It's asking me the project name. I'm simply telling him that hello world is my first application I'm going to build. It has automatically selected the Tomcat. This will not be the case with you because I have already done some applications in it, so it is still automatically selecting it. In case you have to select a new runtime, and you have to select all the Apache Tomcat, then select which particular web server you are using. I'm selecting Apache Tomcat 7. Select next. Specify the folder from where the Tomcat is being installed. In my case it's in Linux, I have kept in this. So in Linux software, Apache is installed in this particular I've unzipped in this particular folder. I've selected OK, and it finally asking me the GRE version. Okay, this is where I will specify which particular version I want to use. Okay, and simply click finish. Okay, in my case it's already done, I will not repeat it. Okay, so in this way it will be selected Apache Tomcat is I'm going to use it. Okay, in dynamic web module it is 3.0. Apache 7 is by default saying that it's 3.0. I recommend go for 2.5. The reason is in 3.0 it use the concept of annotation. It is much powerful concept, it's very good concept, but in that case it will not be available. Web.xml will not be available. You have to manually create and you have to maintain and all. Okay, so it's better for the time being. For my purpose I'm just keeping it 2.5. I'm letting him to create the web.xml, and I want to work with web.xml instead of annotations. I'm simply clicking on finish. It's building the project. It will make the folder structures. If you worked previously with any of the not without IDE, if you have developed any web application, you will understand the folder structures and all, and you will come to know what are the folder structures are required. You must be knowing something about web.inf, and you must be knowing about something called web.xml and all those things. Okay, so I hope so you know that thing. I'm not going on to that. I'll be explaining these structures, what are they used of. Okay, so we have the main two folders is the Java resources and web content. That's the two folders which is required for us. Okay, the Java resources is having src folder, that's our source folder. It will have all the source files. Okay, so I'll just first create a package or something, or class files, servlets and everything should go in this particular folder. Okay, and web content is the folder where you can keep all the HTML files and even your public JSP files also. Okay, if suppose you want to make it more secure, it is better you can put the JSP files or HTML files in web.inf. I hope so you understand the difference between web content and web.inf. Web.inf is a web INF files which are there, which can't be accessed directly from the user from outside. Okay, a servlet can call it and all, that way it is somehow secured. Okay, web content is an open files, anyone can request and the request will be sent to the user. So I first simply create an HTML page. So HTML I don't want to be secure, I want it should be accessed, so I create new and I'm specifying new as HTML. Okay, so I've selected the web content and then I've did this task. It's asking me the what's the file name. I simply say it's index.html, and you can see that the HTML file which has been created by the system will have default context. So I have to simply put my content only. I'm simply saying hello from HTML. Okay, so I put a tag as h2. Okay, and I save it. Okay, I try to run it. Okay, now if you see that there is no server being created. Okay, so I right click, run on server. Okay, in normal cases it will create it. Okay, but if suppose it's the first time, it's better to create manually. Okay, run on this server only automatically. Next. Okay, so this is the hello world my application. Finish. Okay, so it has created the server, and if you can see that the server is been creating and been starting off. Okay, so it's starting the server, it's executing, it's telling to run this particular application. Hope so I'll be able to see. Okay, that's my hello world from HTML. Okay, so I able to have a simple HTML file, okay, being executed into this. Well, how it went to the browser, the reason is there is an option in Windows web browser. Okay, and you can select the default browser or where you want to run. If you put as internal web browser, it will run in this particular Eclipse only. It is better, my recommendation, you run on the browsers instead of simply inside in this thing. Okay, let's see how to create the package in this thing. Okay, so you go to the src folder, right click. I'm not sure why my system is taking so much time. Okay, right click new, and you can select package, and you can specify any package. I'm simply saying com.winode. um, I have created the package. I want the servlet to be inside in it. I select again, right click, new, and I can select a class or servlet. Okay, it's better to select servlet, then all the codes will be done by you only, by its only automatically. So my first servlet, so it's my first servlet, and if you can see that it is using a class name. Okay, so this is it is being annotated, and it will be automatically be added into web.xml. Finish. Okay, so if you can see that web.xml will also be get updated automatically. I do not have to do anything in this case. Okay, so if you can see that the web.xml is having a servlet entry. Okay, that is first servlet, and it's been should be called by slash first servlet. So I copy this thing. In my HTML I'm planning to have a form, so I select a form action, and I'm specifying that. Okay, I do expect you know basic HTMLs, so I'll be not going touching all those concepts. Okay, so I'm requesting first servlet, so it will as and when I submit the click, I will put the submit button. It will be forwarded to a particular page, and that particular page is first servlet. Okay, in the first servlet I am not specified any method. I hope so you know the method concept. That is two types of methods are there, get and post. So if no method is been specified, by default it is going to the get method. So servlet is having do, get and to post. In the I want to print something, so I'll be using print writer response dot get writer. Okay, now dot println hello from servlet. Okay, so it's showing me an error that print writer is the class, it's not finding it. You have to import it. Either you can just put the key over there and it will show you import option in this thing, or else you can do control shift O. It will automatically add the appropriate import files. That's a shortcut which we have to learn in this thing. Okay, so servlet creation is automatically done. It will add the class, extend the HTTP servlet, it will add the constructor, it will add the do, get and do post method. This is the advantage you get when you're working with IDEs. Okay, that is such an editors. Okay, so I hope so it's working. Let's see how it's been. I'll select this. Okay, remember my decision, always restart my server. So again it is been started, it's sending the request. Now the page should show a hello from HTML and plus a button. Okay, so it's been showing, and it has been redirected to the servlet. So now the request has been forwarded to servlet, and servlet has performed the whatever action is has to perform, and it has given me the output. Okay, I hope so you know the flow. Okay, I just summarize it. The flow always goes in this way. The client sends a request. to the server. The server transfers, I mean the appropriate server, whichever PC you are having, that is http colon slash slash your domain name is ultimately an IP address of the server you are transferring. The server is having internally a software called a web server. In our case it's Tomcat. The Tomcat accepts the request, transfers the request to the appropriate project's web.xml file. Okay, before that it checks whether it's a static request. That means if it is an index.html, it will directly get the index.html and it will return the HTML file to the client. Okay, if it is not the case, it will get it's a servlet or something, it will transfer the file to the web.xml. Web.xml is having a request of slash web servlet slash first servlet. So first servlet will be transferred, get, and the appropriate class file will be called. In my case it is com.winode.first servlet is the file which is to be called. So in that it automatically calls the do get method and it simply prints the values. Similarly we can have a JSP also. Right click, that is web content, instead of a HTML I'm planning for something a JSP, new, and I can select a JSP file, and in this also I can specify index.jsp. okay, I'm going to put no much code in JSP because I have to explain some of the key features of Android I mean sorry editor Eclipse. So I'll be neglecting the JSP portion, what JSP is having and all those things. Okay, so yes, and I don't need now HTML, so I'll just simply delete the HTML file. Now JSP will act for me as an HTML work. I strongly don't recommend to put all HTML contents in JSP. Okay, unless and until you feel so JSP is required, just do, then only add JSP. If it is possible with HTML, always go for HTML. Okay, so a page is been added, submit. Now the JSP is taking my request to the servlet, and you can see now it's so simple of creating JSP and servlets and this thing. So always remember your servlets and everything goes in the in the src folder. Create a package and then do it. Make a practice of having a package, it is a better practice. Okay, and always the JSP and HTML goes into the web content. If the JSP is not to be secured, it is to be gone into the web content. If you feel it is quite secure like error.jsp or something you have created your own, it is better to put in the web.xml file. Web.xml is having the web.inf folder. Web.xml is having all the entries of your servlets and all those things. If you are creating any filters or something, it will be having all the entries in that only. If you're putting any libraries, then you should go for in the lib folder. Okay, these are the things are there. Some of the some good features about uh, IDE, that is what my aim is. We have seen most of them. We have seen how to create simple JSP files. We have seen how to create simple servlet files. This is portion is left, how to look around the major features of Eclipse. Necessary softwares we have seen. Importance of web.xml, it acts as a index files, you can consider it as. Okay, if you know Android, it is something like Android manifest file. Okay, so you have to make entries in the web.xml. Any servlet, any filters or anything is there, you have to make entries in the web.xml file. Okay, so web.xml is a quite important file. Okay, now let's see what are the features we can get into this Eclipse. Okay, so first thing is like the ID, it's having a good interface type. It's arranged, it's a project folder. It's this is our code area. If you feel anytime you feel like this area is not much enough, you can just double click into it. It will be expanded and you'll have much more space in this. Now if you feel like it, you want to see the project explorer, yes, you can see from here, or else you want to have again just double click over there, it will be back into the normal portion. If anytime you messed up with everything and you don't know how to fit into this, you put this somewhere and you put, I mean like this way or something, you went to project and research perspective. Okay, and just say yes. Okay, it will just take you to the back to the old fashion. Okay, and default it will show you an outline and task list. Okay, I don't feel so it is required in this, so I just neglect those portions, so I'll get much more space in the coding area. So you can arrange accordingly these things as per your requirements. Okay, so feel free how as you like, you can arrange them. Okay, now you can make changes in the settings. I mean like if you want to add some plugins or something, like you have to go to help and install new software. Okay, and here you can add special plugins for those things and all. Okay, so this is the area where you have to add the plugins and all. Okay, if you have used Android, you must be knowing that this is the area from where you add the Android plugins and ADT and all. Okay, so that's one area. Second thing is like you can make changes in the text and all those things with the help of preferences, and you can make changes over here. Okay, so you can select what are the appearance and what editors, what choice you are having, and all those things you can make in this thing. Okay, so that's one area you can explore in this thing. Okay, second is if you want to get an idea where this particular project is being stored, right click properties, and you can see that this has been stored in this particular location. That's again, this is one way where you can get this information. If you anytime you feel so that you want to comment this particular set of code, you don't have to sit and manually comment it. You can just press simple control and a forward slash. Okay, so it will be commented automatically. If you want to remove the comment, just press once again, it will be removed. That's one of the good features. If you that's one thing. Then more good is that if you don't know what are the methods are available or something like that, so like if you want to have uh, do get or do post or something, if I don't know what is the post method, I know something is there in the post but I don't remember exactly all the arguments and all, so I can just simply write suppose something like protected void do p and control space. If I press it, so it will give me, it should give me a list of what are the methods and all it should have. Okay, that's not showing. Let's see what is problem. Okay, I don't know why it has not shown. Okay, let's see, just a second. Do post. Okay, it's showing. Okay, so you don't have to even type that thing. Okay, just simply type the method name which you want to have the help. Okay, just like do post and control space, it will show, it will recommend this is the method which has been available. How it is getting this method, that's a question. Now how it is been getting is, the reason is because you have extended HTTP servlet, so it will whenever you do control space, it will get an idea that whatever methods is extended by, I mean like available in HTTP servlet is also should also be now available with first servlet. Okay, so you just put to post and control space, it will try to find it out what methods are available in this class and you want to override those methods. That's one area you can do like that, or else you can do right click source and you can select override and implemented methods, so it will show you what are the methods being available by this particular class. And if you have multiple options like that, then you can select and you can say okay, and it will, all those methods will be available into your class. So that's one of the areas you can explore and you can do those things. If in case you are creating any beans, that's most probably if you're working with studs and or if you're working with MVC, that's most common. Go to the package, create the class. So suppose I want to create a bean for student, I simply say student, so a blank class will be created for me. So if I want a variable, so I say private integer roll number, private integer marks. So all those things are created, I'm happy. Now I need setter and getter method, I need constructors and all those things. So I simply say right click uh, source, and I just say add setter and getter methods. So generate the setter and getter, so it will ask I want setter and getter for roll number and marks. I say okay, so it will automatically be added. So that's one of the good features you can have, it should explore. And if you want to add the, but obvious, if you want to add the constructors, you can even add constructors. So you can say if you need a default constructor, you just simply remove the fields. If you need a constructor with arguments, you can add this way. So these are the major features I feel like you should be knowing in Eclipse. This should definitely help you out. Okay, explore it, and then only you will be able to learn these things. Okay, so this is at all what I want to say. Okay, I hope so you have understood this thing. If you have any queries, you can post the queries in my email ID. I'm going to post this on YouTube, so you can put comments on it. Okay, I hope so you have understood. Thank you and have a nice day.